Hi guys, well today we're going to be taking a look at the Darkbase Pro 900. So Be Quiet have launched this new case today, and it can be regarded as a high-end chassis in their current portfolio. So being a flagship product, this case is packed with high quality construction, and it is backed by some innovative features, and it should bring to the market something very exciting. The Pro version of 900 arrives in a combination of aluminium, steel and tempered glass, offering some premium build quality. Not only does this new case introduce some modular storage options, but the motherboard tray can have its height adjusted, can be inverted or even completely removed. Now in terms of the pricing for this case, you're looking at around about £200 in the UK, $250 if you are over in the US. And that is the pricing here for this Pro edition. But Be Quiet are actually also supplying a non-Pro, which is £50 cheaper, $50 cheaper, but it does obviously lack some things like the tempered glass panel, the RGB LEDs and a few other minor details. So guys, we've got a lot to cover today, so please bear with us and we hope you enjoyed the video. Right guys, well we're going to start with the front of DB Pro 900. So you can quite clearly see that Be Quiet are continuing with another elegant design, and here we have an aluminium plated door. So after a soft press there in the corner, this door pops out. On the inside of this door there is a thick layer of noise reduction padding, and it's important to note that this isn't just a thin sheet of material which is being slapped onto that door with a few blobs of glue. So opening this out reveals a fan controller switch and a button. Now this button works in conjunction with the supplied LED strips, so Be Quiet give you two of these RGB LED strips and they plug directly into the hub on the back of the motherboard tray. Once connected, you can cycle through and choose a specific colour that you'd like, and having that tempered glass means that you can create a really atmospheric looking configuration. Behind that door we also have these two plastic 5 1/4 drive bay covers. Either side just needs pinching in order to detach. And below this we also have a large detachable dust filter for the front cooling fans, and as you can see this just lifts off, and underneath this filter we have two Silent Wings free 140mm PWM fans. So those fans there are installed as intakes, and we can actually add in another 140mm fan by removing that optical cage and using this fan bracket which Be Quiet include. Now up at the top we have the front panel connectivity. So in this area here we have the following. We have two USB 3 ports, headphone and microphone jacks, the power button, a reset button with activity LED, and two USB 2 ports. So the usual selection of ports and buttons there, but just behind this we have a rather special panel. Now just like the LED switch, this is only available with the Pro version of the 900. This here is a QI charger. So if you have a smartphone or a tablet that has wireless charging capabilities, then by placing the device onto this panel here, you can keep your devices fully charged. And I'm pretty certain that this will be of interest to quite a lot of people out there. So it's really good to see Be Quiet innovating in this way. And it's probably only a matter of time before we see other rivals following suit. And up at the top of Pro 900 we have a mostly flat panel which does have some elements here of ventilation towards the back. Now this panel has the aluminium plating and it is removable. And after detaching, we now have access to the top of the case where we can attach some cooling fans. So you can install 3 140mm fans, 4 120mm fans or a single 180mm fan. And later on we're going to be checking out what the radiator compatibility is like. Okay, so for the side panels, on the prominent side with this Pro edition of 900, we have a tempered glass panel which is 4mm thick. And as I said earlier, having that transparency in the LED lighting means that you're really going to be able to create a nice view of the internal components and show off your pride and joy. And there are 4 thumb screws which fix that panel into place, by the way. While over on the other side we have a thick steel panel which has this rectangular vent which pops out. This vent can house dual 120mm fans. They do need to be the slim versions though. And that vent there also has a filter which you can take out and clean. And as we've seen on other areas, this side panel here has a noise reduction padding on the inside too. So removing these panels we can get a good view of the internal layout and the features. Inside we can house up to XL80X and E80X, so this case takes the larger form factors. Now guys, the other thing to bear in mind with this case is that we can alter the position of the motherboard tray. So I've slackened off a number of screws, there's actually 6 in total, and as you can see we can move this up and down, so that obviously will allow you to, tweak it to your particular configuration. There are mounting holes in different places so that you can fix that into place. And the other thing to mention is that you can completely remove the motherboard tray. You can use it as a test bench, as you can see here on the video, or you can even flip it over, rotate it so it is on the other side of the case. Now, to install the power supply into Pro 900, the technique is slightly unorthodox, and you can also move the placement of that bracket to a different position. And you can see that that bracket there has some padding to cushion the power supply, and we also have an extension cable. Above the power supply, we have a series of 8 PCI covers. Each of those have the ventilation cutouts, and they make use of a thumb screw so you can easily get your devices in and out. Placed at the back of Pro 900, we again have another one of those Silent Wings free 140mm fans, and this one here is positioned to be an exhaust. As we've already mentioned at the top here, we also have those optional spots for 3 140mm fans, 4 120mm, or a single 180mm. Over towards the front of the case, we have the optical cage, which, as you can see, requires a standard set of screws to attach the drives. And this cage can be completely removed from the case to make way for another 140mm fan with that included bracket, or just to simply free up some space. Now, for the storage, things are once again slightly different inside Pro 900. So instead of having a single hard drive cage, which typically houses a series of trays, we instead have this modular configuration. So each of these metal trays are independent. They can house both 2.5-inch and 3.5-inch drives, and they can even be flipped to provide mounting for the water cooling pumps. So there are 7 trays in total. Each tray here can house 2 SSDs or a single 3.5-inch drive. And on the reverse of the motherboard tray, we also have a bracket which allows you to install a single SSD. So plenty of storage options, and the benefit with this design is that you can take out any of those trays that you don't want to free up some space without losing an entire cage of storage. Okay, so next we're going to take a closer look at the clearance options within Pro 900, as this is quite an important area for you system builders who need to know whether something will fit or not. So for the CPU cooler, we have 185mm for the total height of the cooler, which is a huge amount of space. So that allows you all of the flagship coolers to fit inside. In the graphics card department, we can obviously swap out any of those modular hard drive trays to accommodate a large card, but as it stands with those trays intact, we have up to 320mm. So again, this will mean that most graphics cards, even those of the high-end variety, won't require you to take out those storage trays. Now, the location behind the motherboard tray is really important for storing cables. So Be Quiet has designed the back of the tray to have this cutout which allows you to feed the cables through, which is rather handy. And the clearance here is around about 1.5 centimeters. Not forgetting, we also have quite a bit of space there next to the power supply, so the cable management inside this case is really easy to control. On this side, we have a fan hub, which, on top of those LED strips and the 3 included fans, we can connect up another 5 cooling fans. This will help to tidy things up too. And it really is nice to see that even this part of the chassis is different from a traditional case for something like the cable management. Okay, so onto the water cooling. So we've already seen that there are lots of places to install different sized fans, and that alludes to some good radiator support. So beginning at the top, we have the space and the mounting to install up to a 420mm radiator. Installed here, we've got one of Corsair's Hydro Series LCS coolers, which is 240mm. And you can see that it fits there no problem. And what's even better is that we've got a cavity in the top panel, so you can place the radiator or the fans inside there to free up some space in the main chamber. And the gap from the top of the case to the motherboard is 40mm. And then at the front, with the storage trays detached, we can again fit up to a 420mm radiator. You would obviously need to detach the optical cage too. And with all those storage trays detached, we can install a tank to the side of the chassis. At the bottom, we can install up to a 280mm radiator. And it goes without saying, at the rear, we can install a 120 or 140mm radiator too. So, plenty of options if you're wanting to go down that water cooling route. Okay, finally guys, we're now going to do a quick sound demo to give you a better understanding of how loud Pro 900 is with those trio of Silent Wing free cooling fans. So we'll have the fan controller set to low initially, and then we'll switch up to high. So here goes. So that completes our look at the Dark Base Pro 900. So as we said from the outset, this is Be Quiet's top of the line chassis, and it will occupy that top spot in the range of cases that they provide. And as such, this case does cost a fair whack of money, but then it does arrive with a huge array of features, and it's pretty obvious that the designers for this Pro 900 here, they've been carefully planning and carefully developing this case over a considerable amount of time. Some of the things that I really like, the QI charger up at the top, such a novel idea that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time that we've actually seen this type of feature on a chassis before. But it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? To be able to charge your mobile devices within arm's reach. It's such a great use of space. The other things, it's fairly modular case in terms of the board design, the orientation. It's nice to have that flexibility, but the storage situation, it's something which may only be a small detail, but by avoiding that traditional method of the cage, it means that we can pick and choose which ones we'd actually like. And if we do perhaps need to make a bit of space for a big graphics card, then we aren't going to lose the entire section of the storage. Now, if you guys are interested in the thermal performance from this particular case, how it compares to other cases, please head over to the full review, which is going to be on the screen in the description very soon. Thanks for taking time out to watch today, guys. Really do appreciate that. If you did enjoy this video, then please hit that like button. And if you are a new watcher, you've just stumbled across this particular video, please subscribe to the channel. And we should have another video coming very soon, actually, possibly even this week. So stay tuned for that one, and I'll see you guys very soon.